Alright everyone, today I figured we should probably do a bit of an easier run this week. Today, we are going to see how fast Venusaur can beat Pokemon Red in a solo run. We haven't done Pokemon Red in quite a bit, so let's get straight into the run, shall we? Starting things off, we are the final evolved form of the Grass-type starter Bulbasaur. We are a Grass and Poison type, and we have a base stat total of 425. You may see a special defense on here, but in Generation 1, the special attack and special defense are special. But fortunately, when the special split happened, both of the special attack and special defense are 100. Anyway, we have 80 HP, 82 attack, 83 defense, 100 special, and 80 speed. I will say though, of the 3 Kanto starters, Venusaur has one of the best level up moves in my opinion, just because of a few select moves. As you can see, we start off with Growl, Leech Seed, Tackle, and Vine Whip. And at level 22 we get Poison Powder, not really a good move, but at level 30 we get the high crit move Razor Leaf. And since our base speed is over 64, that means in Generation 1, Razor Leaf will crit every single time. Although there is a 1 in 256 chance of it not critting, but let's just ignore that. And then at level 43 we get Growth to raise special by 1 stage, and Sleep Powder at level 55. This is a very helpful move in Generation 1 due to how busted the sleep mechanics are, but I just really hate how it gets this move that late into the game. Like, it really upsets me about this Pokemon in Gen 1. Via TMs, we don't really get that many moves, but some of the most notable moves are Swords Dance, Body Slam, Double Edge, Mega Drain, Solar Beam, Mimic, and Reflect. So we get good Grass type coverage, and we get Swords Dance with Body Slam. That is going to be awesome. Plus we have Growth if we want to combine that with Mega Drain or something. So it'll be quite interesting to see how the first playthrough pans out. So why don't we get straight into the first playthrough, shall we? I go straight to the bug catcher in the forest on minimum battles, and I fight him at level 6, but you know what, that's fine. Although I would like to mention Venusaur is neutral to poison, because grass is weak to poison, but poison resists poison, so it's neutral. So anyway, when I get to Brock's gym, I take on the Light Years Junior trainer just for some extra XP, and then I can go to Brock and take him out on the first try and get a time of 4 minutes flat. I didn't feel like playing an intro for that gym just because of how quick it went. On Route 3, I only fight the minimum required trainers, mostly by tackle spamming. It does suck that a lot of these Pokemon are part bug and poison types, so I can't just spam Vine Whip too much. But that's what grass types have to deal with in Gen 1. And then in the grass right here, I look for my flyer and I find a Spearow. I prefer finding a Spearow over the other Pidgey encounter here, because in Mount Moon, if I do not find a Paris, I can actually trade the Spearow for a Farfetch, which can also learn Cut, and then I can just get something else for Dig. But fortunately in Mount Moon I do find a Paris, I go ahead and catch it, and before leaving, I do take out this hiker here with 2 Geodude and an Onix. Just because if everything he has is a one-shot and it's free XP, you may as well do it. Plus Venusaur, like all the other starters, is in the medium-slow level up group. So that means in the early game, we are going to be gaining experience really fast. You may think the fast experience group is the fastest early on, but technically no. Due to how the formula works, medium slow is fastest until level 30, and then fast becomes faster. It's kind of weird, but that's how they coded it. And then as soon as I enter Cerulean City, I go straight to Misty's gym. I take out her 2 gym trainers and then take on Misty herself. She leads off with a Staryu. It's a 2-shot with Vine Whip, but then the Starmie right afterwards just goes down in several more Vine Whips. Here's another thing I want to mention. All of the gym leaders in this game have good AI, so basically it sees that Bubble Beam is not very effective on my grass type, so it will use Tackle and Harden instead. So yeah, this is just really easy. And then afterwards I completely destroy Rival 2, and then I clear out Nugget Bridge. You know, as Gym Leader Matt would say, this is the highest cluster of mandatory fights in the whole game. So if you can do something to speed this up, it'd be nice. But Venusaur kinda struggles with this part because I'm still stuck with tackle spamming and I have very few Fine Whips because for some reason they only gave this move 10 power points. So I'm constantly 2 to 3 shotting things, which is gonna really slow us down in the end. I go ahead and get the elixir right here for later, and then I eventually make my way to Bill. But unfortunately, I actually ran out of potions, and I decided I should try and fight this Oddish Lass and then heal. But unfortunately, she knocked me out because her Pidgey does so much damage. And then on my first attempt at her, I lost. I hadn't saved since Rival 2, so I actually rewinded to the start of the fight, saved the game, and just counted it as a reset. Because I did not want a reset costing me 7 minutes, but then again, this is the first playthrough. And then, after a few more attempts, I'm finally able to beat her and then rescue Bill and get the SS ticket. You know, that's some HP management I really need to figure out for the next run. And then I go ahead and defeat this Rocket Grunt, get the TM for Dig, which I'll teach to Paris later, and then I head my way down to Vermilion City and enter the Pokemon Mart. I go ahead and sell the nugget that the Rocket Grunt back at the Nugget Bridge gave me, and I buy some super potions and some repels. And now I can go on the SS Anne. Before I take on the rival though, there's 2 things I want to get. I want to get the TM for Body Slam, which I teach over Tackle, so now a lot of fights are going to greatly speed up because of this power creep. And I also use Body Slam to get the Gentleman Rare Candy. Although, you should look at this, I almost died on Rival 3 because I was too lazy to heal, and I figured Body Slam would just destroy everything, which it did, but the Pidgeotto and Raticate have Quick Attack, so that made the fight kinda scary. Anyway, let's go take on a non-scary fight, Lieutenant Surge. He leads off with Voltorb. It surprisingly lived a Body Slam, but the Body Slam does paralyze it, and then I one-shot the Pikachu, and then the Raichu is a 2-shot with Body Slam. It's 1 turn to attack, it really didn't do anything that much. And then afterwards, I can go inside the fan club and get the bike voucher, and then this is a red and blue exclusive. I can dig out back to the last Pokemon Center, which was Cerulean City. And then I can go inside the bike shop, get the bicycle, and then bike my way through Route 9 and Rock Tunnel. Venusaur doesn't have any struggles through Rock Tunnel, especially since now, in the place of Vine Whip, I have the High Crit Razor Leaf. The combination of Razor Leaf and Body Slam is going to completely speed up the mid-game. So why don't we just head on over to Celadon City? The first thing I do is heal at the Pokemon Center to set it as a dig point, and then I go in the department store. I buy some Super Repels, 2 Pokedolls, and then I choose not to buy any vitamins because I want to save my vitamin buy for later when I have more money. So with all the shopping done, I can head on over to this house here, get the HM for Fly, and then head on back to Lavender Town and completely destroy Rival 4. It's kind of funny how Rival 3 was kind of harder in this run than Rival 4, but we all know the truly hard fight is the Agatha Jr. trainer, as Scott's Thoughts likes to call her. She has 2 Ghastly, and they both can survive a Razor Leaf, so that lets them do something like paralyze me with Lick or confuse me. But fortunately, it doesn't do any of that stuff today. And then I use a Pokédoll on the Marowak, and then I rescue Mr. Fuji and obtain the Poke Flute. So now at this point, there's a lot of different stuff I can do, but first I go through Cycling Road, get this rare candy in the grass, and then I head on down to Fuchsia and enter the Safari Zone. I get the Carbos here, the Full Restore, the Protein, the Gold Teeth, and the HM for Surf. So now at this point, I have 3 choices: do Erica, Koga, or Rival 5. And I choose to do Erica first. I decided to try something different and fight the trainers on the right hand side instead, because I know the Execute trainer would just spam Reflect and Hypnosis due to the Beauty's good AI. So I decided to fight the trainers on the right side. And besides, they give more XP, so let's see how Erica goes. She starts off with her Victory Bell. It's a 2-shot with Body Slam. Fortunately, it doesn't do any crazy shenanigans, but it's not like it's a big deal anyway. In this game, due to her good AI, the Victory Bell pretty much always spams Poison Powder on a grass type. And since we're part poison, we cannot get poisoned. So the fight was pretty much free anyway. And now next up, I had a feeling that Koga might be kind of hard due to the fact that Venusaur is neutral to poison damage like Sludge. Plus, if I take too much damage, then the Wheezing Self-Destruct could destroy me. So I decided to go to Silph Co first. I go ahead and get the card key, But before taking on the rival, I decided I should probably gain a couple of levels, so I actually fight some of the best trainers in here to fight for experience, mainly the rocket grunts and scientists that have fully evolved Pokemon like Machoke and Magneton. But there's another thing I want to get here. On the 7th floor is the TM for Swords Dance. This is going to really help out the late game. I don't know if you need me to tell you that, but I figured I should. And now for Rival 5. I set up all 3 of my Swords Dances here, but I get an unfortunate crit on the Pidgeot, so I have to reset. On the next attempt, when I actually remember to heal, I'm able to set up all 3 Swords Dances and completely sweep with Body Slam. Unfortunately, the Alakazam outspeeds and kills me. So at this point, I realized this low of a level wasn't enough, so I actually decided to use a few rare candies to get to level 41, because I mainly just want to outspeed the Alakazam. I really do not like how I used 3 rare candies that early on, but I'll definitely need to think about this in the next run. Unfortunately though, the Charizard gives me a reset. Dude, I did not think Rival 5 was going to be a challenge today. So now with Rival 5 done, I get the Lapras for Surf and Strength, destroy Giovanni, and then I liberate Silph Co. So now that Silph Co is liberated, I can either take on Koga or Sabrina. I am obviously not going to take on Sabrina right now, but if I take on Koga, I can get a 12.5% boost to my speed, and that definitely could have helped me out in the Rival 5 battle. So maybe I should consider in the next run doing Koga first, but let's see how he goes in this round. He leads off with Coughing. I try and set up 3 Swords Dances, which I successfully do, and now I am able to just completely solo his entire team. It's a good thing his Coughing doesn't have any bad moves, it's mainly the Muck and the Wheezing that do. So now with that done, I can teach Surf and Strength to the Lapras, and then go in the Warden's house and get this little rare candy right here. So now I can go on a brief swim down to Cinnabar Island. Inside of the mansion, there are 2 rare candies I want to get, as well as a Carbos. And then with the 2 rare candies obtained in the secret key, I can dig out and go fight Blaine. Honestly, even though technically both Blaine and Sabrina have a type advantage over me, Blaine is just really stupid in this game, so I figured I may as well just do him first. He leads off with Growlithe. Funny thing is about Blaine's good AI, he's randomly going to decide between Ember and Agility, so he'll have a 50% chance of not attacking, and that makes the whole fight almost guaranteed, assuming I don't get a burn from Ember. So now with my 7th badge, I go to Saffron City and I get my TM for Mimic, which I teach immediately in the place of Leech Seed. This is going to come in handy for later fights. On my first attempt at Sabrina, I forgot to heal, so that's a quick loss. On the next attempt, I set up 2 Swords Dances, and I figured, you know what, +4 is enough, and fortunately, it is. Her Kadabra was doing quite a lot of damage, so it's a good thing +4 was enough. So now with Sabrina defeated, I can now take on the last gym leader in this game, Giovanni. He leads off with a Rhyhorn, and then followed by a Dugtrio, but here's the thing, I've got Razor Leaf. I decided it's pretty much not worth it to set up Swords Dance and sweep with Body Slam, because crit Razor Leaf will just 1 to 2 shot everything, and besides, what's his Nidoqueen and Nidoking gonna do? Alright, just before we take on the league, we got Rival 6. It's a lot safer to set up on this Pidgeot because it will randomly decide between Agility and Wing Attack. Unfortunately, I'm able to get past it with complete HP, but unfortunately, I made a grave mistake in this fight. I forgot to heal up my power points for Body Slam, and I ran out, so all I had was Razor Leaf for the Charizard, and you can probably understand why I lost this fight. On the next try though, I do win, but at 29 HP, so I just barely had enough experience. So now, with no trainers between here and the Pokemon League, I can exit the cave and enter the Pokemon League building, heal at the center, buy some full restores, and now I can go take on the final 5 trainers. Let's do this shit. Before attempting Lorelei, I decided to use some of my rare candies to get to level 53. I figured it'd be mostly okay to set up on her Dewgong because she's going to randomly decide between Aurora Beam and Rest. And fortunately, I do win on the first attempt, although it did come kind of close though. And then next up is the Generation 1 Hiker. People like to say this guy is called Bruno, but to be honest, I've only ever seen him in Gen 2, as well as the Pokemon Blue randomizers. Other than that, this guy's the Hiker. Next up is Agatha. My main plan for this fight was to put it to sleep. My original plan in my notes was to mimic Nightshade, but then I just realized it has Dream Eater, one of the best psychic moves in the game if you have a sleep move. So with the combination of Sleep Powder and Dream Eater to keep my health high, I just completely destroy Agatha's entire team. Which is what I would have said if I didn't run out of PowerPoints on Dream Eater. I really need to stop saying these scripts ahead of time before something comes up. I keep making a fool of myself. The second try though, I do come out victorious. It might be worth getting a PP up. Next up is the Dragon-type Elite Four member, Lance. I put him to sleep, and then I try and set up my Swords Dances, which I do. I get to +6, and then I sweep with Body Slam. Unfortunately, the Aerodactyl lives, which may allow it to use Supersonic or crit Hyper Beam, but thankfully it doesn't. So I guess in the next run, to be safe, I should probably use a Sleep Powder on it. So now, let us take on the champion. Just before entering this fight, I candied up to level 60. I have one reset on this fight because I used Mimic by mistake. I meant to use Sleep Powder. Because the thing is, I want to set up all my Swords Dances on it so I can one-shot the Pidgeot and the Alakazam, and then on the Rhydon, I Mimic Horn Drill just so I have a way of one-shotting it. And then with the Rhydon down, I one-shot the Exeggutor, the Gyarados, and the Charizard, and Venusaur has beaten Pokemon Red with a real time of 57 minutes and 40 seconds, with 10 resets at level 61. This is a game time at the Hall of Fame of 2 hours and 34 minutes. You know, I think my overworld routing has been pretty good in this run, but I do need to optimize some of the harder fights because 10 resets for a Pokemon Red playthrough is just way too much. But why don't we get on to the second run, shall we? This might end up being a shorter video this week because not only is Pokemon Red just in general a way shorter game, there aren't that many changes in between playthroughs. I completely first try Brock, but I do want to mention one thing. Inside of Mount Moon, I got a Spearow just outside of it, but I never found a Paris inside of Mount Moon. So I have a new plan for it. If I have a Spearow and I'm nearing the end of Mount Moon and I don't have a Paris, what I can do is catch a Geodude so I'll have a Dig user when I trade the Spearow for a Farfetch'd. So I just wanted to let y'all know that I had to do that. And then I first try Misty, completely destroy the Nugget Bridge trainers. Fortunately, I did remember to buy plenty of potions so that Oddish Girl wasn't a pain again. And then I head on down to the SS Anne, get Body Slam and Cut. And then when I entered Surge's gym, I actually realized I forgot to set the trash can puzzle with Game Hook, so let me fix that. Thank you. I completely destroy Surge, and now I'm just going to skip ahead to the next major fight, which is probably going to be Rival 5. Which it definitely is. I actually did fight a bunch of Silph trainers to make sure I can outspeed the Alakazam. And the Alakazam has 95 speed, so I enter at 96. I do get one reset here because I went into the fight forgetting to teach Swords Dance like an idiot. But once I remember to actually teach it, I completely just sweep Rival 5. So honestly, I would still have a no reset run so far if I had remembered to teach Swords Dance. Oops. I do want to bring up Sabrina though, because I only set up one Swords Dance just because the first Kadabra did so much damage to me with Psychic, and then the Alakazam lived at half health. I was really worried about getting another reset, but fortunately Body Slam paralyzed it, it can't move, and I'm able to one-shot it. That is a relief. Obviously I don't need to mention that Koga is easy, but Blaine was still pretty easy. He didn't try and do a crit Fire Blast or something like that. And now let's just skip straight ahead to Rival 6, because I know I had some issues with him last time. On this attempt though, when I get past the Pidgeot, I'm left at half HP because the wing attack did quite a lot of damage, and then the Alakazam outsped me and hit me with a Psychic attack, and it leaves me at 7 HP left. The thing is, I knew the whole time that Alakazam would outspeed just because Venusaur does not have the base speed to outspeed the thing. Plus, using Swords Dance, I get a mid-battle level up. This run could definitely benefit from some better XP routing, but I'm limiting myself to 2 playthroughs, and besides, I still won. What difference does it make? So now I can get through Victory Road, and now head into the final 5 trainers yet again. I decided to try out a new strategy for Lorelei. I used a turn 1 body slam on the Dewgong, so that way on turn 2, when it's most likely to use rest, it'll get put to sleep so I can set up more freely. Although the Lapras does like to be a pain in the behind, and I do win the fight on the first try again, like the first run, but in red health. Like that Lapras just loved making things close. And now the next Elite Four member is Agatha. This time, I'm way more careful of my Dream Eater power points because on the Arbok and the Golbat, if I remember to, I will hit them with Body Slam. And fortunately, due to my better planning, I defeat her with 3 Dream Eaters to spare. And then on Lance, the only danger to him last time was that the Aerodactyl can survive a Body Slam. I missed a Sleep Powder, but fortunately, all that happens is that it misses a Supersonic. So now with Lance defeated, I am now back at the champion. I put the Pidgeot to sleep, take it out with 2 Body Slams, I take out the Kadabra, and now I'm at the part where I'm trying to use Horn Drill on the Rhydon. The thing takes like 6 or 7 Horn Drills to land, my goodness. And then unfortunately, I get a very bad reset on the Exeggutor because it put me to sleep with Hypnosis and I just never woke up. And then it slowly barraged me to death. And then on the next attempt, I missed Sleep Powder on the Pidgeot and it mirror moved my own Sleep Powder and put me to sleep. Then on the next attempt, I miss Sleep Powder and get hit with a crit Sky Attack. What is this move, Hypnosis? However though, on the next attempt, I am able to get past those foes, and then I first try the Rhydon with Horn Drill, and now I have finally beaten the champion, with a real time of 54 minutes and 58 seconds, with 4 resets at level 63, with a game time at the Hall of Fame of 2 hours and 37 minutes. I've only had like a few minutes of improvement between the first and second run. That champion battle in the second run was definitely a lot of really bad luck. But if you don't count the champion, I've only had 1 reset, and that was just because on Rival 5 I forgot to teach Swords Dance. So if I had remembered to teach Swords Dance, all of my resets would have just been on the champion, due to some pretty awful luck, I would say. So I think it is pretty much possible, like anyone could do it, get a resetless Venusaur run in Pokemon Red. But why don't we take a look and see where this places Venusaur on the leaderboard. As you can see, I already have Charizard on here. Not Blastoise, I should really do that pretty soon at some point. But compared to Charizard, Venusaur did way better than Charizard did, and I pretty much know why. Sleep Powder, and Charizard had to deal with Lance. So I can definitely understand that. So this puts Venusaur 2nd place overall on my Pokemon Red leaderboard. The only one I've done so far who's been better is Zapdos, only by like a couple minutes or so. And it looks like they both had the same game time. But here's another thing, Zapdos had 0 resets, plus Zapdos beat the game 7 levels lower, and that's all because of the slow leveling group. But anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I'm hoping next week to do the promised Emerald video with Breloom, but the Pokemon Emerald overlay and HTML in GameHook have all been having malfunctions for me, so I haven't been able to record my first playthrough successfully. So that's the reason I did Pokemon Red with Venusaur this week, just because I couldn't get Breloom done. That may be the case next week too, but hopefully we'll see. Anyway, please like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more, and be sure to follow my socials or support me on Patreon and YouTube memberships. Links are down below. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video or live stream.